Hi guys, it's Kim. I'm here on Tuesday. I might have to cut it a little, like just a little short. I'm always like, oh no, let's keep going. I might have to cut it a little short tonight. I got a few things I got to get done because I am off to Salt Lake City tomorrow for the conference Keto Salt Lake. And you know how it goes. You got to pack things, you got to do things, you got to get things organized. So that's what I got to do. I pulled aside the clothes that I'm going to bring to wear because obviously that matters. I just realized I put on no mascara. Hello, welcome to my natural and made up eyes. Um, also I'll do this instead. and I kind of have a theme. I've got like a high-waisted pants theme going. Everything is like high-waisted pants. I have the figure for high-waisted pants. I'll say I have that, like I've got the littler waist and then the bigger below. So the high, like that, like tight cinched in high-waisted look, the kind of like menswear. So I'm going for that this trip. That'll be my look. It's also cold, so pants. Thanks, Dawson Gal. I appreciate it. I'm getting used to the shortcut. I go back and forth between like shoulder and here a little bit. Hey Susan, I saw your post. You're looking fabulous. Good job on the archery. Um, so yeah, lots of high-waisted pants. That's what's happening. I like that they're in style. I heard that low-rise jeans are coming back in fashion, and I'm just gonna say no. I'm gonna say I'm a no to that. I'm gonna say I will not be embracing that trend. I'm going to be going my own way because I like comfortable jeans and low-rise jeans for me, not super comfy. I am a curvy girl. So who wants to talk about anything? What am I talking about in Keto Salt Lake? My talk is going to be on behaviors that encourage us to maintain our weight loss, specifically like mental states. There have been some studies done on successful long term weight loss maintainers and losers, and I'm going to be talking about that. So that will be my topic when I get to Salt Lake City. I'm gonna be going to see the Redmond's mine unless I chicken out because it's cold. We'll see. Nurse Cindy's gonna make me go though, because we sit together. No matter how old you are a middle school girl, right? Will you sit with me? Yeah. Anyway, what are my thoughts on almond milk, Axe Ducks and Gal? I'm pro I mean, like, you can go way down a rabbit hole with almond milk in terms of a lot of things. Like, is it what is it better than? Is it better than this? Is it better than that? Is it worse than this? Is it worse than that? Um, if it's a like the almond milk I frequently buy is from a brand called Califia, and it's 1 gram of carbs for 8 ounces, and it's 35 calories. It's pretty low impact on the nutritional thing. And I know that, some people will worry about oxalates with almonds, but how many almonds are really in a cup of almond milk? I would say is probably not a lot, given that it's 35 calories. It's mostly water. So, I personally am not concerned about it. We could have lots of arguments about the environment and watering almonds and all that kind of stuff, but like really from a nutritional perspective, as long as you tolerate almonds, I don't eat a lot of nuts even, but I do drink almond milk, or I do a splash of almond milk in my coffee sometimes to cut, like I'll put a little bit of like a Quest protein shake, and then I'll cut that with some almond milk because I want it kind of milkier. I use almond milk in protein shakes or, things like that because I think they taste better than using water. I have used other types of milks, like macadamia nut milk is very tasty, hemp milk, which kinda has a slightly paper bag taste, like, it tastes a little bit like paper, but it's not bad by the time you get the coffee in there and everything. So, I mean, there's lots of different types of, cashew milk. Yeah. You just have to be careful because one, a lot of nut milks add sweeteners or all sorts of crap to it. And then two, some nuts are higher carb than others. And so you have to just read the package carefully. If you're not good with any gums or fillers, they do put a lot of like guar gum and things like that in packaged nut milk. Aren't you glad you asked about nut milk? I'm going to talk about nut milk for like 4 hours. Um, but there's a brand called Elmhurst, ELMEH URST or E. Elmhurst. I can't remember if it's a U or an E. Anyway, Elmhurst, it's like their website is like Elmhurst 1925 for some reason. Maybe they were established in 1925. I don't know. But and they sell them at Sprouts, and you have to be careful because some of them are higher carb and some of them are lower carb, but their unsweetened plain nut milks are very tasty and they don't put any fillers in them. At least the one, if you get they're like it says something on it like 2 or 3 ingredients, and so be careful with picking the right one, but that's a great brand if you have, issues with fillers. Terry says down 133 pounds and 4 pounds away from Wonderland. Yahoo. Congratulations, Terry. It's such a great spot, and also it can be such a like mind melding. You're like, I just get down below the number, right? Everyone gets kind of stuck there a little bit, but you're doing a great job. Congratulations. Yvonne says, hi, Yvonne. So having a hard time getting back to keto, says Yvonne. Okay, so let's just do it, Yvonne. Let's get you back. So what is challenging for you? Let's talk about it. Because I get it, like, the kind of foods that we might go off keto to go and seek are very like attractive. They're palatable, right? They taste good. They're usually junk food. It's usually sweets. It's usually sweet carbs, all sorts of things that we probably shouldn't be eating. We rarely go off keto for a salad. And if we were, then we would just need to adjust the way we keto because you could have a salad. Um, and so I would say you can look at this in a variety of ways, Yvonne. One is cold turkey, just go back to like steak and eggs and cut those things out completely. The other one is make keto substitutions, put sweetener in coffee, make a keto hot cocoa, make some, keto pudding. Oh, keto pudding. I meant, I might have to go get the box. Okay, hold on. I have to get a box. Hold on, I'll be right back. I saved the box for the live. You can still hear me, I think. I saved the box for the live, and then I didn't bring it to my table. All right. I found this. Let's see if you can see it. It is Simply Delish keto pudding. And this brand also makes Jello. Like it's gelatin dessert, right? And it is the ingredients in it, because we know like the Jello pudding is full of a lot of crappy crap. But this one is starch, erythritol, organic Dutch cocoa, emulsifiers, stevia extract, natural flavors. And so, yeah, it does have starch as the first ingredient, but and my guess is it's something more like an arrowroot starch, something that's not as bad. The total carbs are 9. Of those, 4 are erythritol, which is better in a lot of ways than the ingredients are on Jello pudding. So anyway, I thought you guys might want to know about this. I tried it. It doesn't come out looking as pretty. It looks kind of lumpy, but weirdly, it doesn't taste lumpy. And so it's not bad at all. Anyway, so Yvonne, so it's like, making maybe some alternative keto desserts for yourself, or including some things that are sweet, including maybe some Zevia or some diet root beer or things like that. And so that can help some people get over that hump, get over that transition. I know I like carried around a Starbucks coffee with some heavy cream in it and some sweetener in it, like it was my blankie for a few weeks when I first went keto, because I needed that sort of reinforcement that I could still have tasty things. You have to find the way that works for you. And so if that includes some keto desserts and sweets for a while, then do it. If not, make sure you're not hungry. Make sure you're not under eating. Get lots of good yummies in. Really treat yourself to some of those things that are going to taste delicious that are still keto. And then over time, it'll get easier and easier. Docs and Gal says was going to try and make hot chocolate with unsweetened almond milk, Hershey's cocoa powder, and some keto-friendly sweetener. Sounds delicious. Deborah says, I had to cut out the heavy whipping cream in coffees to do my cut and element, as I now realize the stevia was causing cravings, losing weight now. Yay. Yeah, you have to find what works for you. Ultimately, the path that's going to be good for you is the one where you have the fewest cravings, not the most. So if the sweet taste wasn't working for you, don't do them. Show and tell time with Kim. Yeah, exactly. Question. Tried Element on one day for 2 days. Could not get the rings off and legs swollen. Could it be too much salt for me? Um, if you the only change you made was adding the element and that sodium was something your body didn't like, then yeah, you would potentially get swollen from it. So then back off. Go half on it. Um, it is simply delish. Like I said, not perfect. The first ingredient, in fact, is starch, which is not necessarily your most keto ingredient. But it if you're a metabolically healthy person, the ingredients are pretty good. It doesn't have a lot of crap in it. The natural flavor is vanilla. Um, and it's 5 total carbs for a, a serving before you add. I made it with almond milk. So it's also a very low calorie kind of thing because that ends up being around, I don't know, 40 calories for a thing of pudding. So anyway, not perfect, but it's a better option than some other options. And the brand is Simply Delish. I found it at Sprouts. You can probably get it on Amazon too. But their Jello looks even better because that doesn't have the starch in it. So I haven't tried that yet. Um, Ken, is coffee with no sugar keto friendly? It is if you don't put so then but coffee in and of itself is totally keto friendly because coffee is basically bean water, right? It doesn't, well, it's a bean, hey, but no, it doesn't have really any carbs. It has one or two, depending on the form and how much you're drinking. It doesn't have very many calories, and it doesn't have, so yeah. But then, what do you do to your coffee? Is the question that I would ask. If you don't put any sugar in it, sure, that's very low carb. Then it's like, do you put a lot of milk in it? If you made like a latte with regular milk, that's probably too many carbs, right? So then it's like, but if you do a splash of half and half or cream, or even if you did a splash of milk, but it was like a very little bit, then yeah, it's still going to stay low in terms of the total carbs that are in your coffee then. So yeah. Cheryl says some people say make sure you eat a lot of protein. I thought you need more fat on keto and just watch the carbs. Hey Cheryl, it kind of depends. So traditional keto is indeed high fat, low carb, moderate protein. That's sort of the traditional way we approach keto. But these days, and myself included, a lot of people are doing what you'd call high protein keto, which is low carb, high protein, moderate fat. So ultimately, you can get into ketosis just fine on a lower fat approach. I wouldn't say it's a low fat approach because if you're low on carbs and low on fat, all you're eating is protein. That doesn't make most people happy. But fat does not need to be more grams per serving than protein for it to be considered a keto way of eating. So Cheryl, when I started keto, I was eating much more fat and less protein than I do now. Over the years, I've drifted, and then I kind of made a swift left turn at one point, and now I eat a lot of protein, a moderate amount of fat, and I actually more like a moderate amount of carbs as well. I'm more low carb, high protein these days. It works best for my body, makes me happy, but you have to find the path that works for you. Bridget, what are my thoughts on low or no fat dairy? Depends on the type of dairy. I used to be very against low or no fat dairy. I didn't feel like it was as satisfying as higher fat dairy. But if it's just low fat, no fat dairy, like say, let's look at Fage yogurt, right? It's Fage, but you say Fage apparently, and they have it in 0% fat, 2% fat, and 5% fat. And so the difference is going to be like 0 grams of fat, 2 or 3 grams of fat a serving, or 5 or 6 grams of fat a serving. And so there's more fat in the 5%, right? And I really think the 5% is delicious. But over time, if I was like, look, I want to add a little more protein and I don't need the extra fat, I might add some 0% to my meal and use it as like sour cream or something. And it tastes really good. And it doesn't have more carbs than the higher fat one. So ultimately, I think it's just about how your diet all comes together. So if I don't advocate a low fat diet. I certainly think we need a certain amount of fat in our diet to just be a healthy human being for the most part. So I don't advocate the low fat approach to eating. So if I were just eating yogurt for a meal, like if my meal was just yogurt and maybe some fruit, I would probably say, yeah, I'd prefer to have the 5% in that instance, but I don't just use yogurt that way. A lot of times I use yogurt like as a topping or a sauce, so my meal has fat in it already. So in the grand scheme of things, then if I want just more protein and I don't need more fat because my meal already had enough fat, then I would use the 0%. So I'm not against low fat dairy. I'm against a low fat diet. And if the low fat dairy has all the exact same ingredients, then the higher fat dairy, I don't know that, and the same amount of carbs, then I don't see any reason that I have to do the high fat dairy, if that makes sense. But it's all in context. Um, Cheryl, is it true that calories count when trying to lose weight, or will lower calories lower your set point? You will always have to eat lower to lose. Yes, and yes. Calories always matter. There is no such thing as calories not mattering. There are times, however, when calories will take care of themselves because calories are just a unit of measure, right? So calories are a unit of measure. They tell you how much energy is in that food. Your body is keeping track of the energy that you intake. Now, uh, your calories out, how many calories you need, changes, right? Our metabolism will shift. So I am not saying calories in, calories out, hit this number, boom, done. But what I am saying is calories are a unit of measure and energy matters. And and so yes, some people, myself included, will have to watch the calories sometimes to be in the right energy balance that they're looking to be in. Um, that is something I think is true. And so, but if you spend too long with your calories too low, you will in fact have what is called metabolic adaptation, which everyone has, by the way. It's just a natural part of our lives. If you went years eating 1,400 calories. And initially, you lost weight eating 1,400 calories. And then eventually, you stopped losing weight at 1,400 calories and you just stayed the same weight. That means your metabolism adjusted. So that was now maintenance calories for you. You can fix it slowly with doing some reverse dieting. I didn't say that very well. Reverse dieting, which is something that I had to do on my journey to losing over 100 pounds. But yeah, so yes and yes, but there's really no other option if you want to lose weight. So um, yeah. So I have a lot of clients. There are a lot of people that come to me and they're like, I don't understand. I can't lose weight. I just eat. My calorie, my carbs are under 5, and I'm still not losing any weight. It's like, okay, let's talk about what else they're eating. And then they're eating 200 grams of fat, and I'm like, that might be why. So we have to play with the whole energy equation to ensure some fat loss. But then what do? I don't let them stay that low in calories for a long time because if I do, their body will get used to it. So we go down, then we go up, then we come down, then we go up, then we come down, then we come up until they get to the weight that they want to be. And we come up and we stay up and we maintain our weight. Terry says, love my coffee with a scoop collagen, half scoop protein, half cup milk, element, and a squirt of sugar-free flavoring. If it is working for you, Terry, that is fabulous. Am I excited for my trip? Yep, I am. I wish it was a little warmer. Not gonna lie. It's a little cold there right now. It's apparently snowing today. Um, Ken says the Sawbones has me on allopurinol and my gout has had gone away. Fabulous eating chicken. I have mostly lost weight being afraid to eat. I am at 220 and trying to stay there. Yeah, Ken, I would track and see what you're eating. And if you're eating too little for too long, I don't know that's really good for us. We have to continually eat less to be able to lose weight or maintain it. And I think it's good to go through a period of eating a little more, but trying to maintain your weight, doing it slowly and carefully. Yvonne said, I got into maintenance before. Hold on. I got into maintenance before when having no keto treats. I had to go back to basics and had lost 25, gained 15 back in 2 years. Yeah, you have to be very careful with things like the keto treats. Two Fix said, keto almost 4 years and weight stable. I do have a little sugar now, but try to stay under 5 grams per serving, like a kind bar or 90% chocolate. Should I be concerned about sugar? If your weight stable and you're healthy and your blood sugar is good, I don't think a little sugar is a problem if you keep it under control. Um, LaShawn says, "What's the percentage?" Hold on, 1 second. Sorry, guys. Someone, hold on, hold on 1 second. I'm going to have to deal with someone at my door. So, hi. Sorry about that. All right. So, someone was at my door and they wouldn't go away. So no problem. That was stressful. Okay. So I'm okay, where were we? What's the percentage I recommend to lose weight? Um, I don't understand the question, LaShawn. I'm sorry. I'm looking forward to seeing you too, Judy. It was not a land shark. Sorry about that, guys. I'm gonna have to wrap up maybe in a few minutes and deal with something in the house. Hold on a second. I hope you're all are going to. LaShawn, what was it that you I'm trying to understand what percentage I recommend to lose weight. You just did let me know your a little more about your question. LaShawn said, "What's the percentage of fat to lose weight?" Um, it really depends. It's not the percentage. So, like, you have to, if you want to know how to lose weight, you have to um, figure out how much protein you need. Then, when you know how much protein you need, you're going to have to eat that much protein to do the right thing for your body. Then, you are going to need to get your carbs under control in the right alignment, and then you're going to figure out what your appropriate caloric intake is to maintain your weight, and then you're going to go from there. LaShawn, yeah, some people do say 70% fat, right? But 70% of what? So if I were eating 1,000 calories a day and I was getting 70% of my calories from fat, um, that would mean that I was eating, I have to do that. That's a hard math to do for a second, but that would maybe mean that I was eating 700 calories, so about 63 gram, 700 calories from fat divided by 9, 70, about, yeah. Well, see, I can't do math this fast. Hold on, let me get my calculator. So 1,000 times point 0.7 divided by 9. Yeah, 78 grams of fat. But if I were eating 2,000 calories a day, that would be 150 grams of fat. Those would be very different circumstances. So I do not in any way condone the percentages. I do not think they're a good way to go. I think you need to figure out how many grams of fat you need. And so, if you're eating 70% fat and 25%, um, 70% fat and 20% carbs. Sorry, I'm just distracted by the person that came to my door. I told them I couldn't be with if there's a plumbing situation in the house, and I was like, I can't do it this time because I've got a live. I can do it any other time, but they still showed up. Anyway, hey, two crazy ketos, nice to have you here. Okay, so if LaShawn, if you eat around 1,700 calories, and do you gain or lose weight on 1,700 calories? If you're eating 1,700 calorie if you're eating any number of calories, you eat high protein at about 30 at about 65% fat, your fat and protein are gonna be about the same number of grams. So basically, here's the deal. Any of the 70, 65, what percentage? It's just all ratios, right? And um, so I don't do those. I think it's much more important to work with the grams that work for your body. So if you are trying to, lose weight, gain weight, what are your goals? If you lose, so Sean, if you lose on those calories and you're doing well, it sounds great. You just need to work out what works right for your body. Mrs. Collette says, is there a food delivery service for carnivores? There's a company called Trifecta. Trifecta. So Trifecta does meal delivery, and I just got some of their keto meals, and they were not bad. My boyfriend and I were both super happy with them, and we thought they were really tasty. There was only like one or two we were like, meh. The rest were like, wow, yeah, these are good. But Trifecta also sells, you can like just buy cooked portions of meat. So you might want to check out the Trifecta website and see if they have something for you, because they probably do. And they're pre-cooked and they're sealed in packages, and you just heat them up. Dachshund Gal says, I would like, not cheap because pre-cooked and comes all delivered to your house. I would like to lose 4 more pounds. I've lost 70, but I feel my body wants to stay here. Okay, so Dachshund Gal, so here's the question I always ask myself. What would that get you? So you'd like to lose 4 more pounds. What would losing 4 more pounds get you other than knowing the number? Is it that your clothes would fit better? Is it like, what's the thing that you're trying to get out of those 4 pounds? I think it's often important to focus on those things. Um, and uh, and maybe you don't need to lose it, but maybe you do. So hang out here for a while, and then in a couple months, take charge of an effort to lose another 4 or 5 pounds, and then hang out there. So, just you don't have to be in a big rush. But one thing I do like to caution people about when they say something like they would like to lose 4 more pounds is really look at those pounds and see, like, is it some just arbitrary number I have in my head, or do they feel like something that makes a difference to your life? Bridget, only had to lose a few pounds, but now I have loose skin everywhere despite weightlifting. Any ideas how to tighten up skin and breast? Uh, Turn your age in the reverse way. Aging causes loose, saggy skin. It just does. We all have it as we age. If you lose a few pounds, that skin deflates. Um, there's there's just, people talk about fasting. I don't think it fixes it. Um, Certainly, like, I mean, anyone who's had kids, breastfed, their boobs were bigger, their boobs are smaller, gravity just happens. That skin gets thinned out and it stretches. So we just deal with it. Lifting weights does cause that underneath to fill out a little bit so it looks better, but it just is what it is. Lynn says female 57 had a hysterectomy at 29, just had a complete full panel through an endocrinologist. My labs are all normal. Well, great. Um, Kim says my friend's doc told her to stop eating eggs due to it causing iron malabsorption. I don't know what that's about. I had certainly not heard about that, but that could be something that I would Google. I'm Googling it right now. Does he mean, I do know you're not supposed to eat eggs when you take iron at the same time. Um, Eggs are a great source of iron. Do eggs interfere? Okay. Phosphate is a compound that binds iron molecules and prevents you from uh, absorbing the iron. One boiled egg can reduce iron absorption, but my guess is it's at the same time. So this is something that I would look at. And usually what this is that you don't want to eat them at the same time. let's see. You're going to watch me read now. Yeah. So it sounds very much like you just don't want to take your iron at the same time. That's usually what that means. Um, Too Crazy Keto says we just wear compression clothing and no one has to know about our loose skin but us. Totally. Or you get surgery. You decide. Some people end up getting surgery. Nancy says increase calories from 88 to 900 to 1300 while maintaining my weight and celebrating. Congratulations, Nancy. It's always good to maintain your weight at a higher intake, which you should absolutely be able to do because 8 to 900 calories is redonkulous and no one should live on that few calories, though many do. So I appreciate you guys for doing what you do. But you gotta increase the calories over time. So ultimately, we do all have different caloric intakes that our bodies need depending on our activity level, our ancestry, how our bodies work, how we function, how well we sleep. Like so many things go into what our natural need for food intake is. But we all probably who've been on very long-term diets need to push the envelope a little bit more so that we can be at a decent intake. Some of us never did the huge diet thing and we are at a reasonable level of intake, but just as a heads up, I mean, we all are unique, but to women out there who've been dieting since they were 7 years old, like me, um, 12 or 1300 calories is not an appropriate normal intake of food to maintain your weight at. And if you are maintaining at that, then you have got some changes perhaps to make. Larry said, how much sleep do I get per night? 7 to 8 hours, usually. Sometimes I don't get to bed quite as early as I want to. I've noticed when the allergies are bad, like seasonal allergies, my sleep quality isn't quite as good and kind of allergy-ish here. Um, do I take anything for better sleep? I take magnesium, but I don't notice a difference when I take it versus when I don't. For a while, I tried Kirk Parsley's sleep remedy, and that seemed good, but I don't really have a lot of sleep problems to begin with. I was just trying it out, but I've heard good things about it for people that have sleep issues. It's Kirk Parsley's sleep remedy. Lynn says, sorry, my question is if my blood work keeps coming back normal, what else could be the reason for my rapid weight gain? Got it. Okay. Yeah, I did. I was like, okay. Yeah, if your blood work is coming back normal, then dairy-free, ketovore, and you fast. So, is your thyroid good? Are you when you're not fasting, are you eating appropriately? You're going to have to sort of go down the rabbit hole. If you're just like randomly gaining weight, I would, and so the first thing I would do is track your calories. So track your calories so that you can have a diary of exactly what you're eating every day, how much, how often, what's the intake. And then take that to your doctor and show it to them and say, I am gaining weight on 1200, 1300, 1400, whatever. So that shouldn't be happening. We need to look into what's going on. Give them data. Give them data. And yes, absolutely, it could be hormones, LaShawn. But which hormones? So, but the common ones, look at thyroid, a complete panel, obviously. But beyond then, you're going to have to do some digging on the mental and on the eating front. You might be like, like every third day, I do have kind of a bingy day. Let me address that. Right. You also could have essentially gotten to the place where you're doing a lot of fasting, you're eating less and less and less. You depress your metabolic rate to a point that your body is now maintaining on 12 or 1300 calories. Then occasionally you get hungry, you eat more, and boom, now you've gained weight. Nancy says the calculators indicate 1190 are my expected energy expenditure. Nancy, are you 3 feet tall for maintenance? That seems weird. Bev says, how much iodine should we take? It depends how much iodine you need, but kind of a safe range usually is around 1 to 2 drops of something like a 2% Lugol's iodine solution a day ish. Ducks and Gal, I don't count anything. I eat off Westman's page 4. I have to eat low carb for the rest of my life. I want it doable and easy. Sounds great, Docs and Gal. If it works for you, works for you. Um, so yeah, Nancy, like if you're going to like a TDEE calculator, which by the way are averages. So average, if you put in your height, your muscle mass, it'll tell you what the average person your size should be able to eat. And I can show you here. I can show you guys this slide. Maybe let's see if I can show you this slide. Let me find this slide. I've not done sharing before, so let me share a video file. Let me see if I can find it. Where is the video file? It's from Sunday. That's when I looked at it. Now, apparently I cannot find it. I don't know. So what the slide was showing was that two people of the same muscle mass, when they did a study where they looked at how many calories was somebody's maintenance calories. Two people about my height and my muscle mass, about 5'9", one was at 1,300, one was at about 5,000 calories. It's a big range, right? So when you look at those calculators, it's telling you the average. So you may be way above it, you may be way below it in terms of what your body does with the intake. So it really depends who you are and where you fall on that, how active you are, what your genetics are like, how much muscle mass you have. All of that is going to come into place. So I can't say how many calories each person should have, but most people are eating probably far too little in their when they're maintaining just because their body got used to it. Did I get my hair cut, Teresa? Yes, I did get my hair cut. Thank you. It's a little swingier. I did. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you joining me tonight. I really appreciate um your time and energy and joining me tonight. So I'm going to call it a night a little early because I've got to get ready for my trip to Keto Salt Lake. But I appreciate you all, and uh, I will try to uh, give you some information there. Docs and Gal, you can look up what the daily need for iodine is. I believe it's somewhere around 55 micrograms. So you're right in there. All right, guys, good night.